Hi, I'm Raina the Halifax Mermaid, and I'd like to give you a reading from my new book, Fishy Business, How to Be a Mermaid, with a foreword by the lovely Carolyn Turgeon, who wrote the beautiful fantasy retelling of The Little Mermaid. This book is an autobiographical piece about how I got this. And it's also telling you how you can become a professional mermaid performer, or how you could apply your own performing character and create a business with it. So I'd like to read you an earlier chapter from my book, which talks about your very first swim. Now, in this chapter, I'm not talking about this beast of a tail that I'm wearing now. I'm talking about a stretch vinyl tail that I put on for the first time. I'm only going to read part of the chapter, and if you'd like to hear more, I really hope you'll consider buying my book, and I'll tell you how to find it, and my website, and all my information at the end of this video. So here we go. The second time I put on my fabric tail, I was getting ready for my first swim. I sat on the dock of my aunt's cottage with my partner sitting next to me. I experimentally dipped the fluke into the lake water and watched some serious suction take place. This made me nervous. If there is one thing I have learned, it is that you should not do anything if you feel too nervous. It can be a recipe for disaster. I could tell the tail was waterlogged before I even got fully in, and my partner noticed the concern on my face. "You can always try a life jacket first," he said, half-jokingly. I thought about this for a moment. There was no one around to see me look like an idiot in my mermaid tail and a life jacket, so why not, if it meant I felt safe? I wriggled into a life jacket and with a courageous breath of air, pushed myself off the dock into the cold Canadian lake water. That was sure a sight to see. At first I sort of floated there like a fishing bobber. I carefully tried to lift my legs together so they could float in the tail behind me. I tilted my head to get a better look and confirmed what I'd been thinking. There was certainly a lot of suction. I fiddled with the waistline and let air and water travel through the fabric. This seemed to help a bit, but still, I was really just sitting there in a life jacket with my legs stretched out behind me in a very bright orange fabric. I doggy paddled along, dragging my feet behind me. I wasn't sure what I felt, but it became obvious that with a life jacket on, I was in no way about to look like my idol, Hannah Fraser. I paddled back to the dock and handed the life jacket to my partner. He sat on the edge with his feet in the water and smiled at me, took a photo, and chuckled. He was fighting a migraine, and the poor guy was out in the blistering sun waiting patiently for his girlfriend to give this crazy mermaid thing a go. What was I doing? Hanging from the dock, I mumbled, "It's not as easy as I hoped it would be." Come on, tail, go down. I finally summoned up the courage to let go of the dock, float a little, and then paddle with my arms. It took me a little bit to figure out how to keep the tail visible and the whole mermaid illusion alive. I was still simply just dragging my tail behind me. I should point out that I had never been a strong swimmer. Health reasons always kept me from putting my head underwater, and I only really knew the doggy paddle. In that moment, I was feeling pretty stupid, and I could feel tears stinging in my eyes. How could a girl like me, who didn't know how to do anything but doggy paddle, possibly think she could be graceful like Hannah Fraser? I was frustrated, but very determined. I continued paddling around, and when I felt brave again, I dunked my head under. I even opened my eyes. This thing has a mind of its own. The water was full of iron, so everything was red. I didn't know how to dolphin kick at the time, and it really didn't work with two swim fins. So I sort of thrashed around underwater until I was ready to come up for air. It may not seem like a huge achievement, but I was proud of myself. I laugh at myself looking back at those photos because I look so disgruntled, and there are photos in the book of me with my disgruntled face, you can see. Where some people, like my baby sister, can put a tail on for the first time and swim like an expert, I was clunking my way through. With no one local to help teach me what I needed to know, I rented books from the libraries, talked to people online, and watched countless hours of freedivers. And then I'm going to go on and I give you tips about swimming. And I talk about how my first swim in each tail was different and an individual experience, and what you can expect with different types of tails. I've used fabric, I've used latex and neoprene, and I've had my nice silicone beast here that I've nicknamed Rapidash. And you can learn all about putting the tails on, learning to swim, where to get the tails from, making your own tail, all the information about the mermaid community, where you can buy accessories or get materials to make your own. I put everything in here that I can possibly think of to help you be successful in your own mermaid business. Come on, Rapidash. So, I hope you'll consider buying my book. You can find it by going to lulu.com and searching Fishy Business. You can also find it available on my website, rainamermaid.com, and if you'd like an autographed copy with a print as a thank you, you can email me, raina@rainamermaid.com. And thank you so much for checking out my video and checking out my book, and have a fantastic day.